We go live to Brazil to listen to the closing statements of today's Summit of South American Heads of States. Let's go. We are watching President Lula da Silva is arriving. He's preparing to deliver the closing statements of today's paramount gathering of South American presidents.
Sobre los temas que aquejan no solamente a el continente sino al mundo. Escuchamos al presidente Lula da Silva.
Todos os presidentes sul-americanos se reuniram aqui em Brasília, no Ministério das Relações Exteriores, a convite do presidente Lula para se debater, se discutir a integração regional e a cooperação entre os países da região. Estiveram 10 chefes de Estado.
We have to take into account the cooperation.
O presidente Lula. Todos, portanto, toda a representação de todos os países da região.
And the representative of all the countries that went here today.
Amanhã e à tarde, com declarações de Estado na parte da manhã. Depois do almoço, houve uma discussão.
And the agreements that we made in the cooperation and integration, and every one of them made its parts in. And there was a consensus in Brazil with all the presidents of the region that were there. It was published to the press as well. We should remember that all the subjects that were agreed are the big importance, and we know the challenge of these moments right now. And above all, we have to leave a platform so that this will be there in the platform, and in order to talk about these subjects in the future, the president of his ministers created a group of work and a commission too, so that it can do a monitoring of the meetings that started today, and as well as in different areas, studying the results of the meeting of today and proposing new steps and new measures towards the future. Basically, this is the data. This is the data that explains what happened today. The chief of states that gathered today with this meeting with the presidents and the worst and chief of state of the region, and others have a lot of meetings at the end. And the end, it was approved. It was approved, this text of the consensus of Brasilia. These are the facts that I will want to explain in this about this meeting. In this moment, the president of Brazil, Luis Inácio Lula da Silva, have the word. A little thing in order to add the words of the minister, and it's that it was created a group in 120 days it will present a new meeting and the proposals in order to build. Within that, I'm in total disposal of all of you, and I would like to add the first meeting with the presidents of South America. I participated in this meeting with some presidents, and I didn't even know them. And this meeting was called in order to discuss if we want to work as a bloc, in order to negotiate with other countries, or if we are going to negotiate alone after the experience that we have had for years. Do you remember that in the speech that I made, I told that we wanted to maintain UNASUR because we did not participate in the creation of UNASUR, and there was also called the house in Cusco in 2004 that it changed in 2008. And a lot of presidents did not participate in this. Therefore, we thought that it was necessary. I had a little more experience here among all of them, because I'm the oldest. I'm a little older. I participated in these all meetings, and I wanted to call for the President of South America to a meeting here and discuss. I'm very happy of the result of the meeting, as you know. Especially in politics, we have to talk, and we have to talk all the time, because it's the only way. It's the only way that we can solve, and it's the only way that everything can be solved, and that we can be in agreement with the principal causes that we have right now that are in agreements in our region and in our region. Sorry, a moment. I'm not going to. Someone needs to be here in order to control the words, your questions, because this cannot take many long, and it could not be a lot of questions. There should be another person. Okay, I will listen to your questions. And the Brazilian press and the international press is going to ask. Can you speak louder? Marcos Schultz of Brazil. Can you see? Regarding Mr. President, the subject about we have a question about something that was in the press. Are you satisfied with what was talked and with the environment and the measures that you announced? Well, first of all, I believe that there's not any kind of comparison regarding what happened recently. The G7 was, there were presidents that participated, and there were guests as myself, and there were other countries that participated, and they talked, everyone talked, and afterwards there was an audience, and others did not participate. That was what happened. And here is different. Maduro is a president that is part of the continent, of the American continent, of our continent. Maduro was invited, and there was a lot of respect for his participation. They criticized, and there was a critic within the political issue, because no one is obliged to be in agreement with others, with the rest. There was a kind of confusion regarding this, but we are learning to do things. But inviting Maduro is within the terms of the diplomatic relations with Venezuela. We open an embassy there. They open an embassy here. We have a bilateral agreements, because we have to discuss once again. And there are a lot of companies that are doing business with Venezuela, and they want to be there in Venezuela. And there are relations, of Venezuela with Brazil, and he wants to establish a calendar in order to pay the debt, because to save the border, there was not a way to solve that debt. So therefore, we are going to do what it is. We are going to establish relationship, to establish a calendar to play debt, and to establish the policy of relations with Venezuela. That was a very important thing. It was important to remember that we were relations with Venezuela and Brazil. Brazil has a trade of $6 billion, and now it has want, and I would like to have a growth in South America. And a lot of people believe that the president will be with the country of Europe. Yes, it's very pretty, but they don't have 8-9 billion. With Argentina, we had a lot of millions. And this is the answer, that in South America, this is extraordinary space of growth, economic growth to everyone that are willing to establish rules of trade. These rules must be more democratic, and they will be for all the countries. She wants to make a question. Mr. President, please, can you be in the middle? President Lula. Please, be in the middle, please. President Pablo Juliano of Argentina. I would like to ask about how will the support, or how the Brazilian support will continue regarding Argentina and everything that Brazil needs for the trade, and some words about objection about what the President of Uruguay and Chile did regarding its position. Your thoughts regarding the words of a narrative of the situation of Venezuela. In the case you said that it was a narrative. First of all, regarding Argentina, you know that I'm willing to make a big effort to try to help Argentina in order to help them get out of the situation that is right now, not only for the payment of the debt, and it was the president who made it, but to the drought that he caused, and that it affected Argentina. I'm willing to help Argentina in this. And in my trip, I talked to many presidents, so that with the ban, we can have negotiations in order to help them get out of this crisis. I had a very deep conversation with the chief, and therefore she's going to take into account the drought that is happening right now in Argentina, and that she needs to take into account as well the pandemic situation and all the sacrifices. And you know that since I went to China, I talked with his president, and we were able to see if the Bank of the BRICS, we will lend money to Argentina, not lend money to pay the Brazilian sports. Therefore, billions of dollars that our investors are going to do to Argentina. They should receive the Argentine dollar, and therefore we shouldn't have to make a change in order to guarantee that Argentina will pay the Brazilian investors, because there were no guarantees. And we should talk with the banks of the BRICS and see if these rulers should change an article that allowed BRICS to finance with the banks. And this meeting will happen this week in order to solve the difficulties. But I would like to say it is that we made an agreement with Argentina about the energy issue in order to help them with the electricity, and as well to achieve financing in the Brazilian companies. That's what I would like to say about Argentina. Regarding what the other president said about, look, everyone knows that I talk, and everyone knows what I believe in politics. Every time that we want to destroy the adversary, the first thing is that The first thing that is made a narrative out of this. In the case of Venezuela, I believe that I'm saying that since 2002. I was not a president of the Republic in a moment. And I was involved with Venezuela because there was when Chavez was asked oil by Enrique Cardoso, and in a very money well, he said no, because he cannot lend this oil, this gas, because it had to talk to me and see if I lend and I'll let that to Brazil, because I had not won the elections. Therefore, Brazil sent the ship, and it solved the solution, and it solved the crisis in Venezuela. In 2003, I had 25 days of governments in Quito, and when the President Gutierrez, they were discussing the democracy in Venezuela, and I proposed the action of the Group of Friends of Venezuela, and besides Brazil, there was United States, there was Spain, and it was considered an enemy, and there were other countries of South America, and the United States participated with a Secretary of State, and they were against. And despite all that, we agreed to establish an agreement. And afterwards, Chavez, and I don't remember who didn't want to participate. But after that, I was involved with the fights of Venezuela, because Chavez and Uribe, they fought a lot, they discussed a lot, they had a lot of differences. Therefore, we were only trying to solve those problems with the United States, with Venezuela. What I want to say in reality is that Chavez took power and built a narrative against. There was built a narrative in which he was a demon. And this narrative was created in the essence, and it was a demon. So everyone was against him, and it happened like that, and it happened like that as well to me. And it is built, and it has been built during the process. And we see in the television that they talked against me in the radio and television. There were the headlines in the magazines, and they were selling a narrative. I'm a lie. Therefore, what I'm saying about Maduro is that this narrative in the world that is said in Venezuela doesn't have any democracy, and that he was mistaken. I said that he was obliged to build his own narrative, explaining the real facts. And this is something I should not say, because it's a private conversation, but I told Maduro that in order to prove what is being told, you need to do a document in which all the opposition party will sign, all the movements, the labor movement, the parliament, and the 23 rulers. They have to sign. Everyone should sign. And in order to ask for respect for the sovereignty of Venezuela, because the world chose a president, and it was a president that existed. Venezuela is suffering a blockade that is inhumane, and it should not happen. Therefore, I believe that Venezuela deserves to be respected, and only demanding respect and working together we can consolidate the process of democracy in Venezuela. Look at the television in Venezuela. I believe that you should prepare. You should prepare to accompany this, because they do not believe in the electoral campaign. They do not believe in the electoral results, and that they try to make a coup d'etat the January 8th. Afterwards, they lost. You're a journalist, and you know what I'm talking about. The one who builds the first narrative. If you want, if you don't want to lose the game, you should build a narrative, proving that the first narrative was a lie. That's what I told President Maduro. That's what you should do. This is what I'm telling you. Well, fellow presidents that they were not, there were presidents that they were not in agreement with that, but we call a group of friends of Lula. We call the president of South America in order to discuss the possibility of building a multilateral organism that will be to create a diversity in order to strengthen our relationship as an economic bloc. And I'm very sure that we're going to do it because the protocol will allow it. And the protocol allowed the foreign ministers to produce a document. And we are going to meet once again, even if in another country, in order to sign and to stay what we really want, to stay what every country needs. And we should not repeat the same mistakes of last year. You know that I defend the idea of we have to build a new currency among our countries, because it cannot negotiate with our currency, and not even with China. Therefore, this is what I want to do, because honestly, if we not do that, the trade is going to fall and it's going to be very difficult. We shall buy dollars in order to receive what I debt to sell the products. That's not well. Everyone knows that I fight for all that. I've been fighting for that, and I've been fighting for the participation of for Latin America and South America in the Council of Security. Everyone knows that Brazil fights. That Brazil have been fighting, and we are going to continue. We are going to keep fighting because the Security Council is represented by those 5 countries, and it's not the truth of the geopolitical order. United States, China, Russia, France, England. They won the Second World War, and they were there, and they are the owners of this of the council. Mexico wants to be there. Brazil, South America wants to be there. Germany wants to be there. India wants to be there. They want to be there. There are a lot of people. In order to be a political density, in order to be moral, from the political point of view, to the work, to the in the UN, the first thing is that they should respect, and they do not do this. Is the conflict within the United States with Iran, the conflict with France, the conflict in Russia. The conflict in Russia and Ukraine did not pass for the Security Council. And I have a participation in this, and I doubt that Brazil is going to be there, and we shall change that. If Brazil was, Brazil has to be the representative of South America. This represents that before they discuss it there, we have to approve it here in South America in order to win, in order to have more credibility and strength. I mean, it's a very strong change that we want to do in the geopolitics. President. Good afternoon, Reuters agency. Are you listening to me? The first one is that it seems that there were some people resenting this first meeting, the first conversation. There is more than a forum in which you are talking about. I would like to know. I would like to know your thoughts on that, and if they can be created 2 forums, even with the ones that are already there, if there's a consensus about the question of the currency. And the second question is about Venezuela. Once again, what is the resistance of the members of South America to the credits that they are regarding Venezuela. Is there a form of negotiating with those countries, even with the difficulties towards Venezuela? Well, I would like to start for the last question. I I have always defended the idea that every country has its own sovereignty and it can decide his regime, the political regime, and it can decide what type of election it's going to have, and when they're just going to discuss the issues of the government. It's very important that people should be aware of that. The democratic wallet demands Venezuela, but does not demand the same from Saudi Arabia. It's rare that. What I'm defending right now is that every country has its own sovereignty in its decision, in making its own decision. I want that Brazil's decision will be respected, especially in the decisions that the people participate. And what I want for Venezuela is the same that I want for Brazil and for all the countries. Secondly, about creating a new institution, you know that I envy toward the European Union. Every time I think about politics, I'm stunned. I'm shocked about how the continent that had two world wars, and in the last war they died a lot of people. Several countries were destroyed, and those 8 countries were able of building something called European Union, that it has a central bank, that it has a parliament, that it has institutions in which they negotiate. And this is something very rich to the democracy. I always say that the European Union is a heritage of humanity. And when they supported Venezuela, I said it is not possible that the heritage of humanity supports an imposter in order to be a president of the country. That's one thing. That's the consensus. The consensus is something that is very complicated. I believe that there are things that we should take into account. We have not overlooked it. I believe that regarding administrative issues, at some moment we have to need a majority. A few months ago, we met with the Secretary of the UNESCO because the country was in agreement. When it's like that, we cannot finish with the movement of the institution, and the ones who have the majority is going to win, and the other are going to lose. Therefore, it is not a direct influence, but a policy of the working of the institution. So therefore, there should be a consensus for other things, and there's not a consensus for other things. The important thing is that you know that we're not going to demand in any meetings that the people will think in the same way. There is not one only thought, and it will never exist in my head. Everyone knows that Brazil is critic, and it's against the conflict. It's against the conflict in Ukraine and Russia. That is why Brazil has discussed this issue with China, with India, and to create a group, and that in the moment of these countries are in this conflict, and if they want to talk, and we try to talk, but none of the countries should like to want to talk. And I told that the spokesperson to go to Russia. Afterwards, I sent him to go as a spokesperson and to Ukraine, and it is the same thing. Each country thinks that it's going to win, and they don't want to talk. And we hope that one day they should talk and make peace. That they say that it's time to stop killing, to stop the conflict. President Lula, good afternoon. I'm from teleSUR. I would like to know what you talked and this meeting regarding Amazon, taking into account that it has a summit, and here in Brazil. I would like to know what are the issues that do you believe that are a priority in order to develop in the short term, and also ask what what does this meeting represented, and what was some of the things that caught my eyes, that you wanted that countries hold hands. What does this moment represent? Well, I would like to start with the last question. This meeting, it was a very important meeting, and it was very profitable because it was the first time that a lot of presidents met. For instance, the president of Paraguay, president left because his mandate, his power ended, and he only had 1 minute. And it was today that I could meet it. I knew some of the presidents. I didn't even know Bori personally, or the president of Uruguay. I saw him when I went to Montevideo, but we don't have any kind of relationship. We don't have any kind of relationship, but we had a brotherhood. With brotherhood Evo with Korea, and does not exist today. There is not anymore. Therefore, there is more plurality. Therefore, we should learn to live with this plurality, because it means that we should do democracy. We should stay democracy until the last consequences. It's the first time that Piñera is in elections in Chile, and he not participated in TeleSUR. And Uribe, for instance, he also participated in TeleSUR during the times that was president of the Republic. Therefore, the meeting of today is an example. It's an example that we decided to be together in order to fight and defend our interests, or simply to be a puppets in the hands of the colony. That was an important thing that we talked today. What I believe is that this meeting, I don't know if we've had a meeting in the other minute, but no. During 4 years, I was president, and I didn't have a meeting like this. Now that the Amazon, it has an important weight in any discussion of the planet. There is not any country that have a meeting to discuss anything, and did not include the climate issue. And then they talk about the Amazonian region. I believe that involving Amazon is not only about Brazil, it's Venezuela, and Bolivia, and Colombia. Is in all the region. It belongs to Guyana as well. Even France is a part of it. Therefore, what we're going to do is to do a meeting in August to know what the president of the Amazonian region believes. We have to know what everyone thinks. We have to know what is the process of occupation of this process right now. How the Indians are living right now. How do they treat the ones who extract wood? How they treat all the environments, the burns, the water of the Amazons. All of that is going to be discussed in the meeting. To know how our soil is, how is our country, how to know how is the country of the other, in order to make decisions. And for that, we have a very serious commitment that is to talk with other country that it has a reserve. We talked about with Indonesia that it have a reserve, and we should come together and maybe have a part of the wild there exists in the planets, and maybe we should solve a way in order to improve the life of the people. I believe that that is what is at stake right now. Everyone talks about agricultural, about pay that, pay the other, and offer a lot of dollars to the parties that defend the. When I was president in Copenhagen, that was in 2003, and now we're in 2023, and it is still not that. Imagine. Maybe in the agreement of Paris, we have the Protocol Kyoto, the Tokyo Protocol, and none of that was achieved. And we have to see the importance of that. That is why I urge. I made a call, and if there's not another reason to global agreement with the strengthening of relationship, the climate issue is going to be solved only if we have if we have local decisions that they do not depend, I do not depend of the Congress, that the countries do not depend of the Congress, because a lot of time we have approved something, and when you arrive to your country, the Congress does not approve it. The investors do not accept it. Therefore, they do whatever they want. Therefore, this meeting of August is going to be a meeting. It's going to be a historic meeting. It's going to be a historic meeting so that we can be serious about the Amazonic region. When I say that the COP30 is because we're talking about the Amazon region, but let's do the COP in Paris, and let's do it in Copenhagen on the. Let's going to make a COP. That's what we are defending right now. Yes. You are going to see the conflict. You're going to see what is killing Brazil, and that is why. And that is why to help them, because that is our wealth, our diversity, and that it costs money in order to produce some products, and maybe we can improve the life of 25 million people, 20 million people, of human beings that live there, that they want to eat, that they want to drink, that they want to have the culture of all of police services. Of all police services that the people have. It's for that is going to be important, the Amazonic issue. It was never so present as it's going to be after the meeting in August. Look, I'm sorry, but we should stop. Everything in life has a time, a time for beginning, a time to finish. President. Good night, and reporter for economic. I believe that I did not listen to you very well. Mr. President, I would like to insist about the subject of Venezuela. When we talk about that is a narrative is built, we think that they are free of the right, that they are used to create this kind of narrative. But right now, the President of Uruguay, he says that you are wrong. You are wrong when this kind of narrative exists towards Venezuela. But we also saw a leader. We saw a left president, that is the president of Chile, that says that your declaration is out of reality. Therefore, there was another delegate, Bachelet, that said that is against the accusations that Venezuela has said. So do you believe that there's nothing wrong there regarding human rights, regarding democracy? Do you believe that Brazil can do his leader in order to help Venezuela in the democratic area? Well, the one who has to help Venezuela is Venezuela. I cannot say that there's nothing in Venezuela, because the last time that I saw Maduro, last time I went to Venezuela was in the Chavez era. The last time I saw Maduro was without after Chavez died. In the report of Michel Bachelet, he asked that it is created an office of human rights, and it's created. It's important that people make a judgment on a country, and that they not do the judgment on what people talk about. They should go there. The first time that I went to Venezuela, in order to talk to the investors, to journalists, that I talk with the opposition as I did, and I saw how Venezuela was. What Cecil told me is that he never saw. Since we went to Venezuela, he never did tranquilly, because he talked with journalists, with the opposition, and he went. It is not possible. It's not possible. It's not possible that in 29 elections they have only won 27. It's not possible that 23 winners have chosen 19 rulers. It's not possible. It's not possible that there is not a minimum of democratic in Venezuela, because Chavez, for anything, he created a referendum. For any problems, he created a referendum. I told him, stop doing elections, stop. Everything that I can do in order to threaten the democracy in any country in the world, I will do it. Because I was born like that. I am the result of democracy. I'm the result of democracy in this country. Even when the press tried to destroy me. The press contributed to destroy me. Therefore, the citizen has the right to be against. And that's the only thing that I'm interested in. When I was president, I had lunch with television, with radio. I was a candidate. I've never looked for them. I want to respect the press, and I want respect. That's all I want. Look, that's what you're saying. Someone said, you have to go and see. I met a citizen that he was not democratic. Here I have no fascists that during 4 years, I've never talked with labor, never talked with the investors, never talked with the indigenous, never talked with the political parties, never talked to anyone. I met it here in Brazil. And the Brazilian people getting up, and you know that they were tired. I'm the one who's tired. I would like to apologize and go. There will be other opportunities. No, I have a calendar. I have a schedule. I have a lot of trips. A lot of trips. If you want to know something, I'm going to tell you how I got tired. In August, I have the meeting with the BRICS. I had in Santo Tomé. I had another meeting. With the countries that speak Portuguese. I have to go in September to the meeting of the G20. And afterwards, if I'm alive, maybe I'll go to Venezuela and I'll talk to Maduro. I need to visit South America. That forms part of my culture. I will visit all the countries that Brazil have a relation with of Africa without any kind of distinction. I will achieve it because I only have minutes, but I have traveled. I have traveled more than the other. I'm sorry. It's any kind of fault from my part, but I apologize. But I'm going to live. Okay, your question. I'm from China. I'm from China. I would like to know, as you said in the meeting, that Brazil wants to create a common currency in the region. And as I know, you talked about that before in Brazil, that Brazil wants to create a currency with the countries, with the BRICS country. That means that Brazil wants to depend less of the economy of the United States. Brazil wants the end of the US dollar. Thank you very much, President. Well, when we had the United States did not ask anyone, and it made the dollar, it stopped the dollar to have the parity. The European Union created the euro because why not the BRICS? Therefore, the BRICS should create a common currency. Why the countries as China and with a lot of inhabitants, India with a lot of inhabitants, Brazil with a lot of inhabitants, why they cannot create a common currency? Why do we why are we obliged to buy dollars in order to trade? I believe that this is strange. Is that our press believe that this is strange. They know about the idea. There are a lot of people that they do not want to. They want to be independent. The independence happened in 2023 July. We had a currency, and the currency, it also belongs to the sovereignty of a country. We had our own coin. We have an own currency in order to establish a relationship. United States will not be affected, but because they will keep going with the dollar, but it is going to be very profitable for all. And we are going to be tied to a currency to which only the United States has power. We are trying to look for some sovereignty in the economic. We want to be owners of our governments. It's a little that is something very little to everyone that lived 500 years colonialism. Thank you very much.
Palabras del presidente Luis Ignacio Lula da Silva respondiendo las preguntas de los medios internacionales. Ha dicho que el espacio en Itamaraty permitió debatir propuestas importantes en esta cumbre, reiterado. He has said that the region should have a space of economic growth with democratic rules, that they should be away from the hegemonic of the dollar, the importance of creating a commission that they have certain in order to build a roadmap in the subject discussed in this meeting. He said that this meeting was profitable. For instance, he talked about the unit to defend the economic interests. He talked about that stop being the puppets of the international, and he questioned as well the role of the traditional press in order to inform that they did not give the information. He also talked about Venezuela and the President Nicolas Maduro as a fact, an historic fact in the diplomatic relations in order to strengthen bilateral relations. He also talked about the Brazil that is going to be in August regarding the Amazonic region, and to discuss the current state of that region and also of the global actions. And last, he expressed that in his agenda it is included his visit to all the countries of the continent. In general, to sum up the words of Lula, it ends with the summit that occurred in Brazil, and we are paying attention.
We were listening to the closing statements of today's summit of South American heads of state. Brazil's foreign minister said there was a consensus amongst the presidents present to work together and build a platform, a group of work to move forward towards the future. President Lula da Silva said the work group will meet in 120 days to analyze what has been achieved and what is still pending on the agenda. Lula said the gathering was called to bring unity to face the challenges the region experiences. Lula added he was happy with the results of the meeting, stressing that dialogue is the only way forward. While answering questions to the press present at the location, Lula said he would work to help Argentina come out of the debt incurred by the previous administration. Lula also added that during his visit to China, he addressed with his Chinese counterpart to help Argentina through BRICS and the BRICS Bank. President Lula defended his support of Venezuela and condemned the false narrative created against Hugo Chavez then and against President Maduro nowadays. Lula also denounced the inhumane blockade against Venezuela. Lula said that a call was made for a multipolar diverse mechanism to strengthen cooperation and trade. The Brazilian president stressed the need for a common currency for the region to grow together and be independent of the US dollar. Lula said Brazil fights and will continue to fight to reform the UN Security Council so it is in accordance with today's times. Lula admitted that it is an important change that they want to achieve, but described this as necessary if the region wants to move forward. President Lula defended that every country's sovereignty must be respected. In regards to the Amazon, Lula said all parties involved will hold a meeting in August to set the grounds to address the issue deeply, to find solutions, and to ensure the welfare of the people. Finally, Lula described today's meeting as paramount and as a first step for the integration of the region. We're going to now continue with news of today's events. We are continuing. Let's move on